I had like emotional thoughts where like, what's my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm just going to be a cripple the rest of my life, well, I don't want to live that life.
Yeah. Everything new that you do should feel like you're fucking dying.
You took the time out of your weekend. I guarantee you everybody in here works 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You took time out of your weekend to come here.
Yeah.
You have families at home, but you took an hour and a half to come up here to try to get better.
That's right.
So make it impactful. Yeah.
Woo!
There it is.
Welcome to Find Another Zero podcast with Travis motherfucking Zessinger.
What's up, Bart?
In the house. Hello, buddy.
How are you?
Bart Pietrzak, CEO, Project Power Gym. We're back with another edition. We've had fire guests, and we're just going to keep the fire going with Mr. T here. Travis, you and I have been friends for a while, bro.
Yes, we have.
We've been working together. You've been being mobility training through me, and we've been doing
2.5 years-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why the fuck we working together, bro? What the hell happened? I want people to know your story, because what you have gone through and what your story is relatable, is common.
Yeah.
And the road you have taken is somewhat different than what most people would have done.
Sure.
So lay it on us.
Okay. So I won't bore you with the whole background, but college athlete, played college hockey. After college, got in. I was always in the gym, like since I was like 18, 19 years old. My dad always worked out. So I just thought it was normal. I saw my dad work out. Naturally, I just grew up in the gym. So then as years passed, right around like my early 30s, I started to get like kind of sluggish, like chubby, like drinking a lot, just not really like fulfilled with myself. So then like I decided we were on vacation. We were down in Florida with my family. I had 2 young girls at the time. They were like 2 and 1. And I finished off a bottle, I think, it was either rum or vodka. I can't even remember. And the next morning, I was wrecked.
Yeah, that would do that.
Crabby mood, and it just like a light switch flipped on. It was like, man, I'm on vacation with my kids. Like, why do I want to be miserable?
Yeah.
Because it affects everything. It's like when I'm hungover, or when I was hungover, like I was crabby, I was irritable with Kristen, I was irritable with my kids, with everybody around, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I reached out to my buddy Kevin. I didn't know him at the time, but I knew some people that had worked with him, and I was like, hey, man, I want to get in shape. One thing led to another. I got
Kevin Ford.
Yep. Got in the best shape of my life, and then I started pursuing bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that pursuit of bodybuilding, I started lifting very, very heavy weights, and I ended up blowing out my L4, L5.
Before that, you got fucking huge and jacked, and you're a very big muscular man and extremely fucking strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to say that. I would never classify myself as that. We talk about that all the time, but sure.
You're fucking massive.
So blew my back out in 2020. Good friend of mine, good friend of ours, Ryan Ekman, he helped me out a ton. Went up and saw him. Just thought, hey, I'll go through the rigmarole of a chiropractor. Never did before. After about 3 weeks of just like going out and seeing him, getting on the decompression machine, working, moving, I got back into training like heavy again. And I felt great. And I felt awesome. And I was like, I don't need this. Like I fixed myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it. Fast forward 3 years later, I blew it out again, doing nothing. I was literally bending over to pick something up out of the dishwasher. And when I stood back up, I was like, yeah, my back doesn't feel right. Blew it out again, went and got an MRI. I've got spinal stenosis, sacralization, 2 desiccated discs, and then arthritis through my whole entire lumbar. And it just never was getting better. I was just like, shit, man, this sucks.
And dude, just so that the audience understands, like you lift heavy.
I did,
like,
yeah.
You are known in the gym when your top sets happen. Like you go to blackout.
Yeah, I did.
Like people say that shit, but you literally do that.
did.
Like when we've lifted together, like after your set, you literally stand off by yourself.
Yeah.
And you try not to die.
So people always say that like they see stars after they work out. I used to say that until I actually did it, and now I understand. Like there were sets and times where I legit thought I'm passing out. So I would brace myself like, hey, sit down, like you're going out. Like you push yourself to that limit. It's pretty cool.
You push yourself, your intensity, your like I mean, I know you and I talk about it a bunch, and you never allow me to actually like say this because you don't want to believe it, but like you're the hardest core lifter that I know in that intensity arena. Okay?
I appreciate that.
That's just the truth. Just
Yeah.
like Will is big and black, like you fucking lift hard. Like those are just facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want everyone to really understand like how much of a definition of you that was.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't get yourself to go to that level on the last set,
Yep.
you would fucking feel like you fucked
Right.
that set up.
Like I didn't, like if I didn't leave the gym like completely exhausted, not only physically but mentally, because there were times where like before those top sets, like I would take myself somewhere mentally that we've talked about this. You don't want to say that stuff.
Dark.
You don't want to say that stuff out loud. You say it out loud, people are going to look at you like, the hell is wrong with you? So it's like those things that you internalize and then you bring to the light just for that top set. And then it's just like this sense of euphoria afterwards. It's just like, wow, like I just let those emotions go.
Yeah.
Like
So you tapped into some dark shit.
I did.
together.
So then with my back, I started working with you like 2.5 years ago. And it was because I started putting on so much muscle tissue, I couldn't even bend down and tie my shoes.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
you remember the first time we worked together, you could barely get my leg to 45 degrees. Like me laying flat on my back, barely get it to 45 degrees. And you're a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
You were like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, dude. You were
like,
by
you
far
are
the
stiff.
tightest human I've ever stretched.
So I started that, and then when I hurt my back again, I completely transitioned. I still love training. I still love bodybuilding. I still love coming in here and just ripping. But now I do a lot more mobility work with you. I do a lot more flexibility work. I do RPR work. Jeff Lavecchio's helped me. Dr. Tony Catechis. Like, there's so many people that have helped me just try to be. I'm 37. I don't want to be crippled at 45. So now I need to like alter the way I'm training to still give myself that satisfaction of coming in here and just having fun doing what I want to do, but then I still need to be mindful in how can I keep doing this? Well, what I was doing in the past wasn't working because I kept hurting myself. So now, I mean, knock on wood, a year later, like I feel great. I have ebbs and flows, like the back feels tight every now and then, but I'm just working around it, man. Just finding, like you say, find another zero, something I'm not good at, mobility, and let's get better at it. Today I'm a 5. Maybe I'll be a 6 tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a 4 tomorrow, but then I'll be right back to a 5. So
And then the 7.
yeah.
Are you cool if we dive into that moment just after you hurt yourself
Yeah.
mentally?
Yeah.
Because I've experienced it. I know you have, and
Yeah.
I know out there people have hurt themselves. They're on a roll. They're doing great, or they have a certain definition of themselves,
Yeah.
and then they physically change. Something happens. They get hurt. Whatever, and it's fucking rough.
Yeah. And you said it too, because like you in like your intro, you talked about like if you were to define me, you'd say I was one of the hardest workers in the room. And when I couldn't do that, like I felt like I lost myself. Like I felt like, dude, I don't have a definition anymore. It's like such an empty feeling. And it's like you just feel useless. Like you
Okay.
feel like,
Yeah.
man, I've got nothing to give if I can't give everything that I want doing exactly what I want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude, you're the guy that comes into the gym and you're hoodied up. You never show off your body. You got your hood on, up, headphones on. So you're not you're a humble giant, right? So you walk in the gym and you're a humble giant. And you don't ruffle any feathers. You don't mean mug anybody. If you walk by someone and they smile, you smile, you engage, you help people, you see. So it's like your definition to yourself, and you can, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, you knew you were the fucking man, the crazy, the fucking guy who's willing to go harder than anybody. So you didn't have to peacock because you knew that if you and someone else in the gym sit down on a leg press, they're dying before you get
100%.
right?
And I still believe that to this day. I mean, maybe I can't lift as much weight because I'm trying to be safer, but I promise you that, like, I'm going to toot my own horn here. You can't break me.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that moment, bro, I remember us getting together and having really deep conversations because I think that got wavered.
Yes, it
right?
did.
Wouldn't you say that when you hurt yourself, that's what your biggest fear was?
Yes.
Okay, so can you talk into that?
Yeah, like, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit, but like I felt like It was dark. Like I had like emotional thoughts where like, what's my purpose? Like, if I'm just going to be a cripple the rest of my life, well, I don't want to live that life.
Yeah.
So it's like I had those two options. I could either sulk in it and just accept, I guess is kind of the word, accept the fact that, hey, dude, you can't do this anymore. Like, you hurt yourself, like, just give it up.
Mm-hmm. Did you like actually play into that thought? Did you entertain that idea?
For sure.
You did?
For sure, for a while.
So what was the thought process there? You said, okay, I'm done. Now what? Like, what did you actually think?
I just thought, like, I don't know, this is going to sound weird, but I just thought I was going to be a normal dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought, and normal, I guess, it's kind of a weird word to use, but average, I guess, like an average dad. And I just couldn't live with it, man.
You tried convincing yourself.
I
You
did.
tried. I remember.
I just could, like
I'm good. I'm just gonna do this, and like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, the people around me, you know, like my family, like, hey, man, it's okay, like,
yeah,
because they could see that, like, I wasn't all there mentally. You know, everybody's like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Which is, I'll piggyback off of that here in a second. But in the back of my mind, I was like, no, like, I'm going to do this. There are plenty examples of people out there who have it far worse than me that can still continue to do what they love. And like, I truly do love this. So it's like, I'm finding each and every way that I can to make myself healthy enough to be able to do this. Because honestly, I want to do this when I'm 65, 70 years old. I want to come in the gym and be the creepy old guy in the corner who's just sweating his ass off, working out. And that's I'm going to do everything I can to get there. It got to the point, and I'm sure you and I have talked about this too, but it got to the point where I was like, if I'm going to be in a fucking wheelchair, I'm still wheeling myself to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to the gym,
Yeah.
and I'm going to figure it out. So it's like those mental breakthroughs that you have in life where you just have to realize, like, you don't have problems. You just have more work to do. You don't have, like, if you truly think about the worst thing, and I'll use this. Seth Feroce talks about this all the time. Think about the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. Like, the worst. Take yourself somewhere dark. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So an injured back, it's not a problem, dude. It's just I have more work to do. I just got to work around it. So.
Yeah, man. I think too many people, especially nowadays, they connect themselves to what they can do, right? So for me, I was big Bart, 280-pound monster, same thing. 5 herniated discs, central herniated discs, sciatica down both legs, you know, neuropathy. I fucking lost 50 pounds. Like, I became a little bitch, right? Well, in that scenario, then you tie yourself to what you can do. I can do 30 plates on the leg press 15 times and almost fucking die. I can squat 500 pounds ass to grass. I can get myself. And so, like, you tie yourself to what you can do. And I think that's the immature way of us growing up, because because as a kid you couldn't do stuff, and then all you wanted to be able to do is to do stuff, and then you just connect yourself to the stuff you can do. When you mature, or when you have an opportunity, the privilege of hurting yourself like we did, you can no longer do those things anymore. So now you have to face the fact of, who am I? Am I the things I can do, or am I the guy that was able to do those things? Because if I'm the guy that was able to do those things, that means I possess patience, hard work, determination, strong will, right? Those things aren't physical. They cannot be taken away. They cannot be destroyed, broken, injured. They can't. You can't injure my will. Can't do it.
No.
Right.
And you can't take away that I did do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have done that.
You can't do it anymore. I did do it.
But I did it. How many times have you done it? Doesn't matter.
Right.
Because now I'm doing things at the full max of my current capacity. The shit that we're doing now mobility-wise, dude, you are fucking drenched. I see you go to that same dark place when I have your fucking leg on a box and just make your leg go like this. You know, we have no dumbbells in sight. And you're in that same, like, right? So is that not the same guy?
It is, yeah.
Just doing something different.
I know, and I used to equate, like, what I could do, like you said. If I couldn't do that, then I'm not pushing hard enough.
That's right.
But I have, it's been a blessing because now I can. We'll use weightlifting as an example. I can take the 100-pound dumbbells and make it just as intense as I used to with the 150s.
That's right.
Like I can take 25-pound dumbbells and curl them until I can't move my arm.
That's right.
Where I used to just grab the 50s and just rip.
That's right.
It's like you just gotta, intensity's there. Intensity's
relative.
Right. It's just how hard are you willing to push on every single
whatever
set?
the fuck it is that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the golden ticket that I think everybody should really take away from today, above everything else that we're about to talk about. But that's the number one thing, because everyone is so wrapped up in their business, their workout, their car, their house, their marriage. They're so worried about like the tangible. When you're completely oblivious to what it took as a human being to achieve those things are always inside you.
Yeah.
Whether that be this car or that car, this house or that house, this business or that business, this person, that person, like the human you brought to the table is all that you actually have.
Yeah.
Because everything is temporary, homie. I have a big ass 7 foot by 3 foot picture in the mail coming and put in my kitchen, and it's this beach scene, and there's like this neon sign in the middle of it, and it just says everything is temporary. Yeah. And it's like the most beautiful thing, but it's also like you look at that and you go that sucks too, right? Like if it's temporary, that sucks. Like no, temporary creates value. So now you have an appreciation for when your back feels good and you're able to push some fucking weight. There's a completely new appreciation than it used to be.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, just routine tasks that I used to take for granted. Now when I do it and I have no pain whatsoever, I'm like, all right.
What a great fucking day.
This is fucking working.
I know,
it's like,
dude.
We just have to be so, I mean, just waking up, man. Yeah. I mean, just waking, what are the odds that we get to wake up?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the true odds of you being alive today, like here, being able to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's nothing short of kind of a miracle if you think
absolutely.
about it. Yeah.
I mean, they've done the math where like, the chances of you being born and then the chances of you, versus as many days have there been in the history of life to have woken up on one of those. Yeah. Like that's like some instrument. Wow. But you know what else is crazy, to give you some perspective? Can you tell me the percentage of the percentage of Americans? Yeah. The percentage of American population that can bench 225.
I think it's 1% of the gym population. So that's not even the whole population. That's the gym population.
0.0125%.
Isn't that crazy?
0.0125.
And yet I'll come in here and I'll look at 225 and think like that's not heavy. But I keep it. That's one of the things too. And I'm glad you touched on that. That's one of the things I'm trying to ingrain in the younger generation is how strong they are. Yeah. Like you see somebody struggle with 245 and then they get up and they're pissed. I'm like, bro, that is serious weight.
Yeah, and they're 18 years old. They've been lifting since 15.
People can do that? Like you just said, 0.0125% of the world's population can do that, right?
315, it's like 3 zeros before you hit a number.
Forget it.
Yeah. Real quick, can you go ahead and flash that sweatshirt to everybody real quick, please? America, unfat yourselves.
So Will Be Inspired, Will Bates.
Yeah.
Look him up on Instagram and get yourself one of these.
Yeah, that was the last episode is Big Will. Yeah. America, unfat yourselves. I think that's accurate.
Yes.
I think that's 100%. Accurate. Yep. And, what we're talking about right now leads often to that problem because high school athlete, hurt themselves, college athlete, hurt themselves, get out of the military, I don't want to do hard work anymore. Like there's so many of these examples of people essentially just deciding I've done what I've done, I don't have to do it anymore, now I'm just gonna go fucking sit back and let comfort take over. And you go into this depressive state, or you go into this sad state, you go into this accumulation state where you have to keep acquiring new cars, new things, new clothes, new houses, new whatever. And it's ultimately because, again, you're so hyper fixated on what you have and what you do and not who you are.
Yeah, a lot of jealousy stems from that too. Okay. And I can speak from experience too. Like when I ended up, I would just call myself fat. When I was fat, I was so jealous of everybody. Yeah. Like you'd see somebody in the gym just like
in shape.
Jacked, in shape. Immediately I have a negative connotation towards them. And it was only because of my own self-image of myself. I was just jealous of everybody.
Because of your physical stature, or
Right.
because you were displeased with the decisions you've been making?
I think both. I think both of those are kind of a combination. I think one goes with the other, because I mean, you don't get fat unless you make the decision to get fat.
That's
like
right.
there's nobody else to blame other than you.
Right.
I mean, put the fork down, hop on the treadmill, come in the gym,
Yeah.
like just move more, eat
Yeah.
less. It's easy.
Dude, it is easy. It really is. And all the attempts for the last 30 years I've been alive, 36 years, is to try to discredit you as a person's responsibility towards your own life, right? All of the titling, meaning the ADDs, ADHDs, oppositional defiance disorder, meaning you don't like to listen to authority. Like,
Sure.
all of these naturalistic human tendencies are being defined as a title, which means it's out of my control. It's like saying, oh, because you have brown eyes, you have these tendencies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck does that have to do with one or the other?
Right.
You know what I mean? That
Right.
has nothing to do with it. I am choosing to behave this way,
Mhm.
right? When your dog is fat,
Yeah.
what do you do to your dog to make it less fat?
You feed it less.
You feed it less and you walk it more.
Yeah.
There's no extra. You don't give it ketones and fucking a pill.
Not a fad diet.
No, there's
Yeah.
no, right? You can't. The dog doesn't come back and say, actually, I'd like to prefer to eat the same amount.
Yeah.
Is there something else you could give me
Yeah.
to allow me to eat the same amount? But it's only because the dog doesn't connect itself to its like image or its feeding, or you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The dog does whatever you tell it to do because the dog doesn't give a fuck about anything other than like pleasing you, right?
Yeah.
That's what the dog
Right.
does. But because you're pleasing yourself through the foods that you're eating, well, then you're a fucking slave to yourself. You are doing what you're telling yourself to do. You are ultimately responsible. Now, is there a justifiable reason for why you're hurting yourself through food to yourself? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is a reason why you think the only joy you can feel is because you're eating this for lunch and that for dinner and that for dessert. But the fact of the matter is you're deciding, just like you decided,
Yep.
you're deciding to do that to yourself. And so you had that same dilemma. You go, I can no longer lift heavy at this moment. So now I have a decision. How else am I going to get my dopamine? How else am I going to get my serotonin? How else am I going to get my good feelings about myself? Okay, I'm going to be an average dad. What does an average dad do to get serotonin and dopamine? Well, the average dad doesn't necessarily go to the gym. He doesn't necessarily push himself physically. He doesn't, what does he do? He drinks, plays video games, watches porn, like does all these things. Well, it's justified, right? Because you can't push hard in the gym anymore.
Yeah.
Travis, so where else are you going to, how else? Shouldn't I feel bad for you? But you go, I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to be. That's all the fucking reason I need. I don't need a redefinition of myself. I don't need to be prescribed some fat loss pill. I don't need to take extra exuberant amounts of steroids. I don't need to do all those things. I just have made the decision to now go into my willpower, my determination, my intensity that I used to do 5,000 pound leg presses. I'm just going to do what I can do physically now, but you exude those same things.
Yeah.
And so people with, weight problems or whatever, I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Now, when you were in the thick of your pain, did you ever think you would ever be able to even, entertain the fact of being able to leg press again or lead lift again? You didn't want to.
No.
You told me. You said, I
No.
promise to never squat again. I promise to never deadlift
And now that's
again.
all I want to do. It's like
I know.
I can't wait till the day where you just finally say, all right, dude,
We're ready.
We're gonna go squat.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah.
We're on that path.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're on the path.
Yep.
If you weren't on the path, then it would never happen.
Well, it's like like with the weight loss thing, and like for me now, like I have so much appreciation for guys who are mobile and things like that. And I looked at myself and I pigeonholed myself as just a meathead bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't be mobile. Like you can't.
Oh.
But if you, like with fat loss too, if you want to be in shape, what do in shape people do? Do that. That's it. Like just because you don't look the part, like me rolling around on the turf over there, I probably don't look like the most mobile, flexible guy in the world. But guess what? The most mobile, flexible guys in the world do this. So I'm going to do it.
That's right.
Because eventually maybe I will get there. Maybe I won't, but I do know that if I don't do this, I'll never get to that level.
Well, you're at 30 out of 100 right now, right?
Yeah.
Jeff's at fucking, 90, and
yeah.
gymnasts are at 100. You're
Right.
you're at fucking 30, but you were at negative fucking 5.
I was wherever the scale was.
Yeah.
I was off in La La Land.
Far past, right?
But I took pride in it too. Like I took pride in the fact that I could literally not reach down and like touch him between my shoulder blades. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like bending
I
down
remember,
and trying to get my shoes on.
I'm so big.
Like I took pride in that. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like,
Yeah.
how stupid is that?
Dude,
now?
that was me
Right?
at Lindenwood. And when I was in college gaining my muscle, like for the first time, like that would be like we'd be like the freak show at the cafeteria table.
Yeah.
Where they're like, Bart can't even touch his shoulders, and I'd be like, "Yeah, dude, check it out.
Yep.
I can't touch, man."
Yeah.
Like we'd take pride in that fact. You used to think that, at least I did when I was on my journey. I used to think that like the more mobile you are, the more stretched out your muscles will be, and the smaller
same
they'll
thing.
fucking look.
I thought the same thing. I thought if they're contracted and,
Yeah,
and
they're
just
just
tight all the
tight
time,
and ball.
like I'm always gonna look jacked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I thought
fucking
the same
so
thing.
dumb, dude.
Well, yeah. It's knowledge, man. It's just gaining more knowledge. I mean, I think it's maturity too. It's like getting older and finally realizing, like,
Yeah, but dude, listen. If we're being honest, you look at the top bodybuilders, bro. They are hyper mobile.
yes,
hyper
very
mobile.
much so.
The fucking Kai Greens and
Very much so.
They're
This new guy, Andrew Jacked, who could just drop into a splits and he's 295 pounds peeled out of his mind.
Why did we
that
not?
is-
Why did we? Because that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for us. It was
was.
hard enough for us to get big, and now you need us to be mobile on top.
Well, like you said, like all right. See, after Will's on here and he's sitting like
That's what I said.
I'm
What
like,
did I
don't
say?
know what to do with
What
my
did I
feet
say?
here.
Only
So-
Will.
Yeah.
But look at me, ha fuckers.
But what were we talking about?
Uh,
Mobility.
oh,
Yeah.
when we looked at bodybuilders and they were hyper mobile, and then I would be like,
Yeah. So like you get to a certain point where you feel good about what you're doing. Like you as a trainer now, I'm sure now you are so much more confident than you were 10 years ago.
sure.
So it's that confidence. So when I was at my biggest and my strongest and my most muscular, I couldn't move. So it was embarrassing to me to go over to the track and try to start stretching.
So your ego, right?
Exactly. So it's like, I don't want to look stupid. Like you see it all the time, especially with like prize fighters. Like you see like heavyweight champions of the world, boxing, Mike Tyson. Like when Mike Tyson lost for the first time, everybody was like,
He's human.
yeah, like what the fuck? So it's like, you don't want to feel like that. You want to be put on this pedestal by everybody else and yourself. You want to put yourself up here on this pedestal and you don't want to come back down here
Yeah.
because it's like, man, this feels really good.
Yeah, of
this is
course.
awesome up here. Down here, not so much. So we avoid it.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you gain value, right? You slowly gain value as your muscles get bigger and you get more peeled. Like you believe your value increases. And well, you work so fucking hard to get that value up. Why the hell would you do anything to destroy that value? But again, like I'm at the point now at 36, you lose value in my eyes when I'm like, hey, let's go do this mobility thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah. I'm like, what a bitch.
Yeah.
You're such a pussy.
Yeah, it's such
you
a
are
mind
such
switch.
a pussy
Yeah.
that you aren't man enough to sit
Yep.
on the, and you're afraid that what these people might think of you. Like, oh my God, you're so fragile.
Yeah.
And it's so funny now because you try to explain that to the younger generation of like, you're trying to gain respect. Everyone is trying to gain respect, and they're doing it in any way they think they can figure it out to do. So while simultaneously not destroying their self image or their self I don't know what the word is. It's like I want to keep my old self while gaining new shit.
Yeah.
Right? I've talked about it a long time ago, but like everything new that you do should feel like you're fucking dying.
Yeah.
Right?
You should want to quit.
You should want to quit. You should
Yeah.
look to quit. You should look how to quit. You should be completely convinced that you're quitting.
Yep.
Like your life should feel like it's falling in on of itself.
Yeah.
That's the only fucking way that you're going to get to a new level
Yeah.
because you have to kill your old self. You have to kill him. He cannot exist in this new world.
Yeah.
And all people try to do is they try to gain new world privileges by carrying their old self into it. And they run into walls. And they have to make a decision. Either say no thanks to the new gifts and keep your old self, or kill your old self and then say yes to the new gifts.
Yeah. Like you just said, like you come to a wall and you're carrying your old self. So Bart, you're carrying 240-pound Bart on your back. You come to a 6-foot wall. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to get over that wall if you just drop
drop your
Bart.
baggage, man.
Just drop old Bart and jump over that fucking wall.
Dude.
Yeah.
Did you I won't be offended. Did you happen to read that post that I posted with the waiting room analogy?
Yes, in the doctor's waiting room.
Yeah. So like that's how I now look at everybody whenever they're going through their shit or not going through their shit or giving excuses about going through their shit. It's like you're not subjecting yourself to anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So either you want to get through the fucking door or you don't.
Yeah. And when you go through like what you've gone through and what I've gone through, especially with injury, like you look at people in the gym with a different light. Because when you're healthy, you just assume everybody's healthy.
Sure.
So if they're not doing what you're doing, you're like, what the hell, dude? But you don't know, like you walk through this gym right now, you don't know the 40, 50 people that are in here right now. You don't know what they have going on physically. You don't know what they have going on mentally. You don't know if they just lost their job, lost a family member. So it's like,
but what can you know? Like what can I tell right now by looking at them?
Every single one of these people in here are trying to get better.
Effort.
Because they're here.
Effort.
Yeah.
I mean that is irrelevant to all the outside fucking noise. Is your effort and intensity and focus are irrelevant.
Yeah. You took the time out of your weekend. I guarantee you everybody in here works 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You took time out of your weekend to come here. Yeah. You have families at home, but you took an hour and a half to come up here to try to get better.
That's right.
So make it impactful.
That's right. Yeah, dude. And that is the source of power that I think everyone can tap into when they spend so much time worried about what they can do, what they can't do, what they look like, what others are thinking they look like. Like, bro, like, you know, killing your ego simultaneously boosts like your pride in my opinion.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Like I have a lot more value in myself because I don't let my ego win.
Well, what is ego? Ego is what? Is it your own self-perception, or is it what you perceive other people to perceive you as?
Sure.
Like, what is ego?
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing that when you're the type of person that actually understands delayed gratification, when you actually understand the power of compound interest, when you actually understand what current decisions affect future solutions, if you can literally live in that, ego doesn't stand a chance. The devil doesn't stand a chance.
No.
Right? The perception of the social construct doesn't stand a chance. Because the only person that's going to feel from now until then is me. No matter what. No matter how many people I impress, no matter how many people I embarrass myself in front of. The only human that's going to feel all the feelings and see all the sights is me through that whole process. So the ego can't touch me if I'm in a delayed gratification mindset. Because the ego is the only reason why you would destroy your later successes for current glory.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah.
If I'm in my rehab mode and my mobility is there and I'm on the dual deadlift platforms in the turf and the guy next to me has 20 more pounds than I do, I have a decision to make.
Yep.
I can go, do I feel good enough to compete with this guy right now? Because it's good to be pushed. I like being in environments where people push each other to get better. I'm all about that. But am I pushing myself because I believe I can? Or am I pushing myself because I'm afraid that this guy might think he's better than me? Because if I do it because I think he's going to be thinking he's better than me, then that's ego and I'm going to hurt myself.
Right. Yeah.
But if I'm pushing myself because I think I've got more to give, and this is an example of where it might come from.
Yeah.
So again, the thing is the same.
Yeah.
The deadlift, it doesn't change both scenarios. But the innards do.
Yeah.
And your trajectory changes completely.
That's good. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. I mean, if you're not willing to challenge yourself and push yourself beyond a certain, like, I think competition is good.
Of course.
I think it is good
100%.
to compete, but I mean,
why are you competing?
Right. So like you and I don't know, just take somebody random, like you're a lot stronger than most people in this gym. If you were to just compete with somebody, let's say they did a set of leg press for 12. Well, Bart, you know damn good and well you can do that for 30. So if you stop at 13 just to say, "Hey, I beat you," like, but did you win?
No.
Like, did you push yourself to where you feel satisfied, or hey, I did more than him, so he's gonna think I look cool. But deep down, I'm like, fuck, I had more.
Well, not only that, but like, why are you lifting that weight? For your legs to get stronger? Because if you stopped at 13 and you can do 30, they didn't.
Right.
So maybe he did win because maybe he got actually stronger today.
Yeah.
Maybe he got bigger because of today.
Yeah.
You didn't do nothing. But again, like that's a hard pill to swallow because I've been in these situations where I deadlift what I can deadlift, and then there's a guy next to me deadlifting what he can deadlift.
Oh God.
And then I'll hear it later. He told people I was deadlifting 100 pounds more than Bart.
Yeah.
I'll hear it.
Yeah.
And people will be like, "Hey, man, I just want you to let you know, like, this dude's, like, talking shit." I'm like, "Oh, that's so sad for him, man."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the thing that he's comparing himself to. Me?
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy, man.
Bro, like,
I mean,
that's your joy for the week? Is that you beat
because
me?
I promise you, like, if you went over there and just ripped 405 off the floor and somebody else threw 500 and ripped it off the floor and thought, "What's up, Bart?" I'd be like, "Dude, there are chicks at the Arnold Classic that were just pulling 650. It's like, are you really that strong?
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you're comparing yourself to, you're always going to find somebody better. You're always going to find somebody bigger, stronger, smarter, faster, more successful in terms of financial prowess in business. Like,
That's right.
just focus on yourself. Like,
Well, dude, but not, yeah. I mean, not only that, but like, I promise you, I put you in my position when my back shit happened. You ain't pulling 500 off the ground today, buddy. You're not pulling 400. You're not pulling 300. You're probably going to be a fat piece of shit in the bar saying how life was different when your back was better. You know, that's why going through hardships and putting yourself into tough positions is a fucking privilege. It's glory. It's beautiful. It's a gift.
it sucks when you're in it, though.
It's a gift.
Man, it sucks
It
when
does.
you're in it.
It does
Yeah.
if you've never. So like, now that you've been through it, your entire perspective of pain has changed. Like you're. Maybe it hasn't, because you did put yourself into intense pain when you lifted heavy and you looked at it as a positive thing. But that it should be known that that's clear across all things. It's not like pain doesn't disassociate based on circumstance.
Sure.
All pain is for your favor. All pain. As hard as that is for people to listen and hear, all pain is for you. All life is for you. Life is happening for you every day, all day. Everything that's happened is for your benefit.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you have a loved one die, when you have beautiful things go away, when it seems like bad things are happening. But they're not. Bad things aren't happening. Things aren't bad or good. They are just things. And it is then your idea about them that either makes you better, changes you, gives you a gift, or it doesn't, puts you in a prison that you put yourself in. It's all self-inflicted, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right? So if something I think is beautiful has gone away from me, it is then my responsibility to look upon myself what responsibility I had in that situation. Maybe I'm not what I think I am. Maybe I'm not how good I am. Maybe I need to change. Maybe there's lessons to be had.
I think that second guessing, though, that maybe, I think that's good, though.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's really
Run it
good.
through the filter.
I think it's really good to be hard on yourself, because I think you and Will touched on your last podcast. You were talking about, I think it's like 90% of the thoughts that humans have are typically negative, have a negative connotation. And whether that dates back to running from saber-toothed tigers, like everything out here is trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to a certain extent to have some negative talk, like using that as motivation.
It's not negative. It's just asking a question. Like when have questions been positive or negative? Questions are arbitrary. They're just inquisitive. So we are the ones that deem something positive or negative.
Yeah.
It's all made up. Right? Now there's religious context of good and evil and of course. But my point is like listen, like if a loved one of mine dies and if my God forbid, okay, as much as I don't want to even verbalize this, but if something were to happen to Mika, okay, it would be by far, in large, the worst. I don't even want to contemplate. Like I'm sick about even thinking about it, right? But the lesson to be learned there would be appreciate the time you do have with who you have it with.
Oh, God, yeah.
The appreciation of time and ability.
Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Dude, it might happen.
It's the most finite resource on the planet. Like, once time is gone, it's gone. Like, after this hour podcast, Bart, we don't get this again.
This is the only time in our history of lives.
You can never give this back to me.
That's right. That's right. So what? You're going to think about a different moment while you're in this moment?
Exactly. But why do we do it? Because I do it too. Like you just talked about with Mika, I do it too. I think of the worst things that could possibly happen, and it's like, why do I take myself there? Why do I take myself there? Am I preparing myself in case this happens?
No, dude.
Like, why am
You're
I doing
recentering yourself for gratitude. You have to take yourself into
Yeah.
fucked up places so that you cannot forget gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's why you are the demeanor that you are, Travis, and why so many people love you, bro, is because you bring such a positive energy consistently to the environments you come to. You consistently put your own burdens in your own back pocket, doing everything you possibly can to bring a positive smile, conversation, tip, environment to wherever you come from. The only way to do that is to tap into the negative shit that might fucking happen.
Yeah.
People look at those who are super positive all the fucking time, and they have it wrong. The people are super positive all the time because they usually are in a deep, dark, negative fucking place, and they're actively trying to be the opposite. Positive people aren't positive because they just woke up that way and just fell on accident into positive land. But you can't choose to be unless you're facing the fucking negative all the time. Most of the time when people are negative, they have a lot of positive shit happening, and they're choosing to look at what they don't have versus what they do have. Okay, so that then by contrary means if I'm bringing positive energy, that must mean I have to be facing my negative energy pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that, so that's the benefit of why do I keep asking heinous questions in my mind? Why do I go, what if Kimmy and Mika get in a car accident right now? Like, why did I just think about that?
Right.
Why? So that when I see her, she sees the biggest smile on my fucking face, and I'm so excited to give her a hug. And she's been gone 2 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, that's good.
Pain is the point. Pain is the fucking point. Stop running away from it in every aspect of life. People think that happiness is the avoidance of pain. Happiness is because of pain. It is. You
yin
can't.
and yang.
You can't have it without the other.
It's yin and yang, dark and light.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
can't have one without the
It
other.
doesn't exist.
No.
It's physically impossible.
Right.
So not only is it physically impossible for it to exist, you have to be facing it.
Yeah, and to exacerbate on that is I think the darker you can go, the happier you're going to be.
That's right.
I think that
Under control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let it spiral. You have to control it 100%. But I think the darker you can get, the brighter you're going to shine.
Listen,
Like,
why did your muscles grow in your legs? Because you went to a deep, dark, nasty, not happy, can't share this emotion with anybody state, and it gained you leg muscles. You know, it's pretty obvious that metaphysically that can happen as well. I can inspire my own self to do some pretty great fucking things like that propel me forward in life if I face my gnarly shit head on.
well, look at this.
Exactly. You think this came because of happy feelings?
There's like how successful this gym has been. I'm sure you get, well, it must be lucky you got that gym. It's like,
No one says it to my face.
2 years ago.
No one says it to my face.
2 years ago, I bet you were scared shitless. Yeah. Like, I guarantee you.
I'm scared shitless every fucking day, Travis.
And I think you need to be.
Yeah, of course.
You need to be, because as soon as you become complacent, I'm satisfied.
Listen, the moment you get complacent, life will give you something to be scared of.
Yeah.
You get to choose what you're scared of, or life gives you something. Because it's part of the equation. You can't exist without pain. You can't exist without problems.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
You just got more work to do.
Right. Exactly.
Like you said.
You don't have real problems. Like, drive down to Children's Hospital downtown.
But even then, there's levels to the shit.
Sure.
Just as levels up, there's levels down.
100%.
You know?
Like a 16-year-old who wrecks their car for the first time, I think you used this before, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Yep. Yes, that is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. But if somebody else just lost their entire family in a car crash, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Both of them just had the worst thing that ever happened to them in their life.
Yeah.
sure, from the outside, we can look at it and say one's worse than the other.
That's right.
But to them in that moment,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You put them in a vacuum,
Right.
they're both feeling the same thing.
Right.
And one lost a car and one lost 4 humans.
Right.
But in the vacuum, they're both, and that's why it's like that's why I think sometimes some people are easier to speak to than others, is because like that when you talk to me, that's the perspective I take. I don't filter your pain through my story. I don't filter your story through my experience. That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
If this is the toughest thing you've ever been through, then I think back to the toughest thing I've ever been through, and then I give you advice on that. Not, oh, don't worry, it's not that bad. It's, you know what's bad? It's bad when you do blah, 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 blah. And then like, that doesn't fucking help.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that it can be worse, but this is as bad as it's ever been for me, asshole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's when you know.
Well, you'd never, like when I hurt my back the second time, like I was pretty emotional and you never coddled me.
Nope.
Like ever. You were just like, we're going to work through this, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I know who you are as a human.
And you never, you would.
It was kind of almost to like.
You would revert back and like mention it every now and then about how you got through, but it wasn't like you spun it to make it about you, which
No.
I think a lot of people do, and I don't understand why they do it. It's like, yeah, that sucks, man, but let me tell you what happened to me.
I got through
this
it.
fucking sucked. And it's like, why do we do that?
Right.
Like, it's like a competition of who got hurt the worst or who's
Well,
the biggest
you're trying to
victim.
be relatable, right? You go, oh,
Right.
you hurt your back. Hey, I hurt my back too. This is what I did. You'll be fine. And you're like, I'm different than you. Like in your mind, you're like, we're not the same fucking person, bro. Especially when you're in maximal pain. You're like, homie, mine's worse. I don't give a fuck what you think you did because you're okay now. I'm not okay. Obviously, yours was easier. If mine was okay, I'd be okay too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, I didn't coddle you. And, you know, it was very blunt. I was not, you know, I was supportive in a we're actually going to get through this way. Not pity party shit and, you know, feel bad for you.
Let me get my emotions out, and then it's like right back to normal. It's like, all right, dude, hey,
Let's
move
get to
over
work.
there. We got to stretch the other
Let's
leg
go
now.
to
Yeah.
work.
Right.
Let's
Yeah,
get to
yeah,
work,
yeah.
man. You know?
Yeah. Which is good. I think you need that. You need somebody in your corner that's going to listen to you but not coddle you at the same time.
I think there's a difference when someone, listen, I don't know very many people who are comfortable being the supporting role when someone's grieving, when someone's going through hard times. I don't think that role is very natural for a lot of people. They don't know what to say at funerals.
It is uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable, right?
Well, you've shared stuff with me, and I don't know how to respond.
Yeah,
to
you've
it.
told
It's
me
like,
that. And what did I tell you?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't. Yeah, you don't.
I don't need
to
you.
respond.
I'm
just
not
telling you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's the thing is like the role that we even in our minds go, okay, I am now the actor of support for this person in pain. So let me think to almost every movie I've ever seen. Let me think of every TV show I've ever watched.
Let me think of every like cliche line
yeah,
that I can spit out
right?
right now.
Like what do I
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
bits and pieces can I shove right now and be like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm gonna send you flowers. Like, you know, you just go through the fucking. This is what I've observed. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you actually attack the situation with like, what does this human being need to be better? What you do then do is you internalize like, what did I need to be better in this situation where I had hard times? I didn't want someone to say, I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't want someone to put their arm around me and say it's going to be okay. I knew it was going to be okay. I'm just fucking sad.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with me being sad. Okay, I'll let you be sad. Be sad. I'm not going to try to take your sadness away.
Right.
You should feel sad.
Right. Yeah. Don't alleviate that emotion. Let that emotion out. Don't
That's
try
right.
to stop
Nope.
it. Like
you don't
hey,
be sad, man.
let
It's going to be okay.
let it go.
Just be happy.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I want to be sad. This is a sad moment for me. Okay, I'll let you be sad. But what else is true is we got work to do. So I'm not going to let you lose focus on the work we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's because I actually gave a shit about you more than what I sounded like. Because if someone were to hear the conversation third party, they'd be like, well, Bart's kind of cold.
Bart's a dick.
Bart's kind of a dick, man.
Yeah.
This dude's like
Yeah.
crying and he's like,
Yeah.
come on, bro, let's fucking go, you know?
Yep.
And it's not because I don't want you to be sad. It's because I want you to live this moment through so you never fucking forget it. And so that we can use it to your benefit because you're going to use it to your benefit. And it's a gift.
Yeah.
Little do you know, I know it's a gift. You don't, not yet. So, you know, every situation is different. That's not how you handle all supportive roles. I'm just saying, like, give yourself the perspective of like, this isn't about me. This is about you.
Right.
And what do you need in this situation?
Right. And it is hard to do. It's hard to.
Yeah.
It's hard to like, just. I don't even know how to put it into context. It's hard to even say, but like it's hard to like let someone go through whatever emotions they want to get out without you getting involved in some way to try to alleviate that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like me, I kind of feel like I am a little bit of a people pleaser, so I like try to help people. Like I want to help you feel better, but like you just said, sometimes that help is not helping.
No.
Like,
well, that's what I'm
don't
saying.
help at all.
Like I have sat philosophically a shit ton on help someone feel better, or even break it down further, help someone. What you fucking think in your mind is helping someone is some made up self-definition, because you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
I want to help.
Right.
Well, if I am helping, that must mean that I, the helper, should have a comfortable, positive experience about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making me feel uncomfortable with your pain, I want your pain to go away because it's making me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to please you until your pain no longer negatively affects me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some selfish ass shit.
Yeah. If you spin it that way, yeah. I want your pain to stop because it's making me uncomfortable.
So
Yeah,
I'm going to be
that's
a great
good way to look at it.
I'm going to be a great support and make
Yeah.
your pain go away.
Yeah.
Really, because I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I am your fucking friend. I will sit in misery with you.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit in sadness with you. I will sit in an uncomfortable, don't know what to say, don't know what to go with you.
I've had that so many times with you where I'm just like, I'm here, man.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't have anything to say. I can't relate, but I'm just here.
The worst
like
thing you could be.
I'm just present.
That's right.
Like, that's it.
I'm willing to sit in this shit with you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no solution right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Mm-mm.
So if you're telling me this just because you want to sit in it for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit in it with you, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think trying to speak to something that you don't have any sort of like relatable experience to kind of comes off as, I don't know, like,
Bullshit.
right. Like, seriously, dude? Like,
Serious bullshit.
yeah. Oh, man, you should do this and that. Well, how do you know?
I know you don't know.
How do you know?
I know you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really where a lot of harmful advice comes from. You know, ego, especially if ego's in the mix of your problem, or disrespect. Dude, I don't know how you could fucking handle that. I would have went off on that guy. I would have done this on that.
Yeah.
And then you start going, oh fuck, am I a bitch?
Yeah.
Should I have done that?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, they don't know. They've never been in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I taking that? Why am I even listening to this
If I
right
was in
now?
that situation, I'd have punched him in the face.
Really? Like, because
Really?
then when you're in the situation, you're like, well, fuck, maybe, because I wanted to, I for sure wanted to do that, but I didn't, because I thought I was being noble. I thought I was being mature. Well, now these guys just said that they would have punched the guy, and I didn't punch the guy.
Yeah.
I'm a pussy. Now I have to puff my chest out the next 3 weeks and
Right.
be aggressive to everybody. You know.
But it's like if somebody would say, Bart, you're an asshole. Like, you know deep down you're not. So like that should just roll.
I'll question it, dude.
Yeah, but like if so, like Bart, you didn't hit that guy, you must be a bitch. It's like, well, in back of your mind, you know, yeah, I'm not. So like your opinion of me really doesn't carry that much weight.
Yeah,
like,
but that ego and the devil,
I know
they poke the shit out of you,
does,
bro.
because you're like, I'll show you. Like, you really want to see something?
Well, no, because you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, remember, if you're not the one that thinks it first, no one can convince it of you, right? So if you go, okay, Bart, you know you're not a bitch, right? So if someone calls you a bitch, like, you won't feel it. But that would mean that I never had the idea to do what I wanted to do, but I did. When that situation came up, my instinct was to inflict violence and pain. That's what I wanted to do. My right now self-gratification of instant self-gratification, destroy him. But my future gratification, my real why, said, no, that's immature. You can tell the size of a man by the size of the things he lets bother him. You're going to let him win by beating him up? He wins if you beat him up.
Yeah.
He wins if you fly off the handle.
Then what? What got proved there?
I lost.
Yeah.
I have a guy who I have physically defeated who mentally defeated me.
Yeah.
That
because
mental
he got
is
you
way
to
worse.
He got you to that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I walk away with my head high.
Yeah.
No, I go, I am manipulated by my environment.
Yep.
And I am weak
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
That's like on your YouTube, the negative comments you get. It's like,
Yeah.
if you respond, you let them
You
win.
win. I mean, they won.
Even if you respond and say, that doesn't bother me, dude.
You won.
They won.
They beat you.
Because the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of hate is not love. It's just indifference.
Indifference.
Like, hey, man, you just keep going.
Good on you,
Because if
bro.
you can smile at someone that truly doesn't like you, and you can smile at them, what's up, Bart? And just keep going, and it's not fake. It's like legit. Like,
don't
hey, man,
care.
what's up,
I
dude?
legit don't care.
That irks people even more.
Yeah.
Irks people even more. And it's just such a freeing feeling, just not having the confines of somebody else's like hatred, like somebody else's raw negative emotion towards you not affect you. Like it's a freeing feeling.
Fuck yeah,
It's a freeing feeling.
Fuck yeah, and that's really the only thing that anyone ever wants is attention and love. So if I give you attention, even if it's negative, you feel value.
Yeah.
And you are so valueless to me that I don't even care, dude.
Yeah.
I don't
I
care.
got to him.
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah,
Bart.
yeah.
Broke
You
him.
know, that's the guy bleeding on the and just laughing, you know?
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't unbeat you up,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Say, let me help you out.
Yeah.
Let me help you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like, football, sports in general. You're playing your sport. You're there to play the sport. You're there to collect your fucking $1 million salary and play a sport. And then there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, both present and online, that throw their opinion at you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have paid money to watch you do what you're doing.
They follow you
They
on social media.
Fucking pay attention to you
Yes.
so much.
They know exactly what you're doing.
And you're like, I'm not here
Mm-hmm.
because Jeff's in the stands. I don't give a fuck if Jeff's in the stands.
Yeah.
But Jeff thinks I'm a piece of shit, even though he just paid $400 to watch me do this.
But I really wish we'd get away from there's so much to be positive about. Like the negative energy just in society in general is just, it's gross, man. It's
I'll tell you-
gross. It's like, it's so much. Take it from somebody who was negative for a while, and now I feel like I am a pretty positive guy. Like, this is so much better. This side of the fence is so much better.
Again, Travis, the only reason you're so positive is because
I know.
You're
I
literally
know.
IV'd into negative.
Yes, the yin and yang.
You're IV'd into negative. And the reason why there's so much negativity is a lot of people will realize that they have way more power and way more energy with negative. They just don't switch it to something they can control and use positively.
Yeah.
So they just let it be negative, right? How many more people listen to you if you yell at the front desk about some shit you're pissed off about? People will do what they can just to get you out of the building, appease you, and get out.
Right.
Right? The Karens of the fucking world, right?
Yeah.
But if you're kind and cordial and accepting and nice, you're going to have to talk to 17 people before something ever actually happens towards your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot more done being mean to people than you do getting nice to people. I have now experienced that as a business owner, and it's very unfortunate. I then make an active choice to let things take a little bit longer or take a little, be a bit more, because I prefer to be kind to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Same thing, I'm sure, with your business end. If you yell your fucking ass off, they get shit done fast.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's reality. So then it's a choice. Which energy do you choose to use? But you have to harness the negative one first.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
That's the base one. Negative is base.
That's the one you need to
That's the
control.
surface level shit.
That's the one you need to control.
That's
that
right.
monster, you have to be able to control that.
Got to be a monster in order to be fucking gentle, dude.
Yep.
So,
You do.
Travis, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah. This was fun.
Is it your first podcast?
It was, and it flew. Like when he said it was 11:10 already, I was like, this feels like 20 minutes.
Still got 2 hours to say shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't have to pick Brooklyn up till 12:30. Let's keep. No, I'm kidding. Let's train. Are you training or no?
No, I got to go
No.
pick up Mika.
Okay.
But yeah, we're good. Jack's good. You got my initials on your fucking hat.
No shit.
Yeah.
How about that?
Why do you have my initials on your hat?
Why not?
This is a first responder's hat.
No, that's a Bart Pietrzak hat. That's what that is. All right, bro. Guys, go do some shit. Peace.
Later.